Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with video number 48 and today is Friday, July 5th, 2024. I'm so glad you came back to me, even from your celebrations from yesterday, and you're here. Thank you very much. Of course, most of you will probably see this later. So anyway, today is July 5th. And I want to thank again all my wonderful subscribers. I'm over 4,000 and we will be visiting the recipients a little later in this video. It's very exciting and I so appreciate it. And if you're new here, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And if you've been watching for a while and you haven't subscribed, please do that. And if you click on the bell, you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. And you'll be so welcome, and it'll just get us to the next celebration goal, and the next one is 5K. I have a 2-year Flossiversary coming up. It would be great if we could make it before that, because then there'd be 2 celebrations. That would be wonderful. September 1st is my 2-year Flossiversary. So let's move on. A little bit of life update. We have sold our home in Florida, yay. So that meant we needed to make a quick trip down. I say quick meaning number of days, not quick on the drive. The drive was long. We left on the Thursday, the 27th of June. And I was thinking, well, we'll beat the holiday traffic because it's not even the weekend before the holiday. Well, that was a dream. No, that was our longest, going down was our longest drive to date, going down. Lots of backups, and you know, sometimes you never even know why there was a backup, and sometimes you see the accident or something. So that was long. We got there, it took us about half a day to gather up our, we just had clothes in the closet and some clothes in the drawers. Just a few little things, we'd left a couple ALEXA devices down there that were brought back, and so had half a day, but we were exhausted from the drive. We were not ready to leave immediately, so we stayed another day and had thought we would come back on Sunday, but on Saturday morning we sort of decided, well, listen, as soon as we met the new buyers and they came in, they needed to do some measurements and things. So when they left, why don't we just go? And we can drive until we're tired, and then we can just stay someplace, and that'll divide the drive into 2 days instead of one long marathon day. Well, that didn't work out because, I don't know, we would take an exit thinking, well, there are lots of choices here, and we'd look at the places and think, this looks a little sketchy, let's keep going, let's keep going. So we just kept going, and we'd stop and trade drivers and have coffee and keep going. And so anyway, we got back 3:30 Sunday morning. But that then was the longest coming back. It was really long. And again, delays and accidents. And I was so sorry I didn't have enough time there to meet one last time with the Lakeland Stitchers that I met. I'm sorry that didn't work out. That would have been great. So so good luck to you guys. You can still see me, of course, on Flosstube. You could join Central Kentucky's Stitchers group on Facebook. You could join us then with our Zoom, our Zoom meetings. We do that once a month. So, it's great to keep in touch. Let's not lose that connection. Okay, that's my life update, and that's enough of that. Okay, so now I've brought all that stuff back home, and I have a serious closet crisis. Oh, gosh. So when we went down, I had divided summer stuff, half of it here and half of it I took down. Well, then when you go down, well, I need a few more things. And then we'd come home. Well, I need a few more things here. And now it's all here, and oh my word. So we spent some time yesterday going through, if it doesn't fit or if I don't choose to wear it for a long time, just get it out. So we took a trip to Goodwill yesterday, took a pile. I have more things to go through. I think husband's done, but I still have clothing that I have from when I retired 6 years ago, and I've got to go through that. I'll not be wearing wool blazers and suits and all that, dresses and all that stuff anymore. So, I'm more into the stretchy, elastic, athletic wear. No zippers, no buttons. So, okay, so I didn't stop my life update, so I will stop it now. A couple comments from the last video. One of my commenters said that As far as the fabric fusion glue, the Aleene's fabric fusion glue, that Walmart carries it, and it's $2.97. So look for it there. That's a way better price than what I had paid. And then previously, when I was talking in an earlier video about having my mat board cut by my framer for me, yeah, that was a deal. I needed 20 pieces of mat board. And I had to buy the mat board anyway. So I bought the 2 big sheets of mat board that I would have had to do if I brought it home. The charge was $5 per board. So she got 15 out of one board and then 5 out of the other. And then of course I have the scraps that are left. But so for $10, I saved my wrists. That was a deal. So if you ever wonder, you know, that can help you. Now it was not a beveled cut at all. There were no curves. It was just, you know, straight cuts and little rectangles. So I don't know if that affected the price or not, but I was happy I did that. That's that update. Okay, and then concerning the stitch book I showed last time that I'm doing for the Nicola Needlework Academy, Beth commented that she has gotten that same book and she was considering mounting her stitching on linen and just mounting it right on that cover because it's nice and sturdy. But she has now decided she's going to stitch on perforated paper and mount that on the front. Now that would be pretty too. So that's an option some of you may want to think about. Okay, on to the stitching. Like I said, we had a trip to Florida, so I had some days of no stitching. The Florida days were no stitching, but then I stitched when I got home. So I got some stitching, man. So my book of days is all caught up, and we have flipped over to July. Let me dump this down there. Okay. Okay, FFOs. I showed you 2 that I had taken to the framer, the Strawberry Fields and Cinnamon Stars. Mason jar lineup is still there waiting for the frame. It's on order. But it's not that it's not available, it's on order and it'll come in, so then she'll take care of that when it gets in there. So, Strawberry Fields Forever, redone, reframed, nicely framed now, a nice even border all the way around, unlike I had stuck it in a standard frame and it just was not right. And I'm so happy with this one now. This is my 3rd of the Magical Mystery Tour that I have done. And we'll look at Long and Winding Road in a minute, and that's my 4th. And I have the other 2 kitted up in my project bag, and I'll pick the next one. So Strawberry Fields was stitched, it's Blackbird Designs, of course. It was stitched on 32 count linen, and it was Confederate gray. I stitched it using all DMC flosses. And there it is. She's a happy girl. See, I don't know, can you see the little bit of texture on the edge of that frame? It's just enough. Just enough. Okay, so there's that one. Get this down carefully. Okay, Cinnamon Stars, yay. Now this, what a huge improvement. And this is a really nice, this frame really complements this piece. I'm just so pleased with it. It was just a sad finish before I showed it to you. It was in COVID and I did what I could do with what I had and it was not very good. So I'm happy to have this redone. Framer really liked this one. She would have kept this one if she could. She did a really nice job and I had to mess with it because of course I had it on a mat board that I had mounted to some fabric and da-da-da. So I got it off, but when I cut that mat board, I was thinking that was the way it would be forever. And so this mat board is a little bit bigger than what it had been on before, and my edges were kind of close, so I sewed fabric strips on the back so I could lace it. And the framer did a really nice job getting that in. So happy with that. The Strawberry Stars, or Cinnamon Stars, Strawberry, good. Strawberry Fields, Cinnamon Stars, I'm ready to eat. Okay, this was stitched on 28 count Lugana that was tea-dyed, and I look at it and I think 28 count, it really looks smaller than that, but that's what I have written in my book, so it must be. I used only 2 of the called for overdyes because so many of these sections are so small, overdye variation wouldn't show. So I used mostly DMC, but I did use the Weeks Dye Works Molasses and Sage because they were stitched in areas that were large enough that the variegation would show. Okay, and that was Plum Street Samplers, Cinnamon Stars. Okay, those are my 2 FFOs, and Mason jar lineup will come back maybe next week, we'll see. So that's those. Okay, and I forgot to show you in the last video, I talked about I had a start and finish in one day, and I didn't show it. And it was in my show notes, and I didn't show it. I have it here. Okay, I showed this the spool before that I got at the HL, and I found a free pattern from Colorado Cross Stitcher. Yeah, Karen, use your words. I'll just flash it here. It's a freebie, Colorado Cross Stitcher. It's called Stitching Friends. Stitching Friends are the best. I had a couple other things that might have worked, but I just liked this. I liked the message, and I did not have the specific DMCs that she had, but it didn't matter. I used a blue, a navy. I used the red. I used a green, and whatever other color. What was it? A gray and green and red and yellow, and so it doesn't matter what you use, and it's very sweet. And then in the back, I just closed it up. I didn't do a fancy herringbone stitch on it. I thought I might, and I had thought I might put my initials in year, and I didn't do that. I should have, but I didn't. So there it is. It's finished. It holds my collection of counting pins. So that's Stitching Friends. Okay, this is stitched on 32 count mushroom / light mocha. Lugana, no, it's linen. I'm sorry, it's linen. Okay, finishes, yay. Long and Winding Road. I showed it to you last time, and I had made some mistakes, thought I'd had it done. It just took the rest of that day. After I did my Flosstube and got it loaded up, or uploaded, I finished it off. Okay, so Long Winding Road, and I have the round box. I gave the link to that on my last video. I got from Amazon, and I got 2 of them because I have one for Midnight Ride and one for this. What was I going to tell you about this Long Winding Road? Oh, there are some specialty stitches. There are Lazy Daisies up by these trees, or is it on that side? I can't see. It's backwards to me, I think, on this side. Lazy Daisies for the leaves, and then there are Algerian eyelets in these flowers. Where are those flowers? Those flowers, Algerian eyelets. Not many of them, but it's very sweet. So I'm going to be experimenting with some blue paints. I'm thinking this box I'll paint blue. There are a couple colors. I took the DMCs with me. I have a couple bottles of blue, and I'll see how it works out. So I'll mess around with it. And I'm stitching this as part of a couple stitch-alongs. I've shown this before. BBD Magical Mystery Tour, and sponsored by @Sarah's Stitchy Spot and Peg Page 123, and then Fab4 Sal, Julian Stitches 16. So join in. It's great. I have 2 more to go. Yay! And I'll have that done. Okay, that was a finish. 36 count scroll by BestitchMe. I think I told you that. Okay, another finish I have is My Sweet Home, Brenda Gervais. And I stitched this using Katie Strachan's original silk floss conversion. I purchased that through the attic. They might still have it available. They probably do. They can pull those flosses together. Now the fabric is 38 count Himalayan Fog from Legacy. There is some 1/1 stitching. The flagpole is 1/1, and then this little bird is holding a little flag, and that's 1/1, that little flag. So it's not too much. Otherwise, there were no other specialty stitches, so it's easy and sweet. So that's as close to patriotic as I got this year. I'll finish this as a pillow. The cover has a really cute little ribbon. I was checking for ribbon. I don't find a ribbon that I like, so I don't know. I might use a chenille or something like that. So. Anyway, so this one now goes in my little pile of things to be finished. Once again, they're stacking up. Okay, that is that. My WIPs. Catherina Adriana Leunissen. This is from 1884 Stitchery. And this is our Seafarer's Goddess. I am stitching this on 46 count because she's a big girl. Okay, let me see, look at this. So the border part I've done, I've finished the berries and they're little, I don't know if you can see, there's a little yellow inside each of those little tiny flowers. I have that finished all the way around the corner. So I've established the width and I got that bird, those two birds in their basket. And I don't know if those are cherries or what. And then I've started that other bird. At first I thought that was a building because it's so straight right there, but it's a bird. So I have a start on that. Catherina Adriana Leunissen. And let me see, I'm stitching this on 46 count linen, Praline from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it's all DMC. And that's what's called for in the pattern. There's no model. There's a picture of the antique. So there's no model stitch to copy. Somebody at the attic helped me pick out the Praline, sorry. Somebody sent me the Oxford English Dictionary to give me the pronunciation. American pronunciation is Praline, and the British is Praline. So, and it's all DMC, and I'm using Emily C. Eclectic Possessions has a little conversion for the DMC. She tweaked some of the colors, and I'm using hers that she has very generously shared. You can get that from her Flosstube channel. There's a page you go to, I don't remember what you call it, where you share, I don't know what it is. I'm, you know, me, technophobe here, I don't know what it is. Okay, so that's available if you're interested in that. And I had a new start. I'm easily influenced. And I had it all kitted up, so I was ready to jump on it. Florence Mary Dickenson. Now, Brenda from Brenda and the Serial Starter has recently just finished this, and it is gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. She said the border is fiddly, and so I'm trying to start with the border. And I'm stitching with all DMCs. She's beautiful. Okay, so and this was an exclusive from Hobby House in New York, and I don't know if it's available yet, but you could check if you're interested in it. But that's the only place you can get Florence Mary, if she is still available. So here is my start. I did get it all the way around, not on the first try. I was about 3/4 of the way around, and as I turned this last corner, I went, that is not going to line up. So I found a mistake, like here. I had started here, so like here, and another one here. So anyway, so that all had to come out from there. So from there to there was okay, and then everything else. But done, overdone. So I would call it, it's kind of the bones, but really that's the spine, because there's so many more things to go here, which might be the bones. But anyway, so good start on that, Florence Mary. That's another Hands Across the Sea that I have on the go. I think I have 3 or 4 Hands Across the Sea on the go right now. Okay, my next WIP. Oh, I was going to tell you, I'm stitching this in honor of #2birthdayGirls. That's Sarah Stitchy Spot and the Stitching Bunny, and I'm also including Hobbies of Holly because they have those June birthdays and they're all starting it, and I'm starting it in honor of their birthday. So happy birthday, girls. I hope you had good birthdays, because now we're in July. Okay, next, Smith Sampler. Scarlet House. So I had this portion done before, and I've continued the border down. I almost have it filled in, and I've completed this line. It's kind of got, I thought it was 4 sections, but I looked at it again today, it's really 4.5 or 5. So there's a section, then there's a line. This is the section I'll do next, and there's some 1/1 in that basket. And then I'll continue down, fill that in, you know, I'll do that line across and fill in that section, and then I'll come down and fill in, I'll do that as one bigger section. So I might get this done before my birthday. It's not till February, come on, Karen, you can do that. So, let's see, in August, it'll be halfway through so the year, my birthday year, so I can get that done. Now, what was I going to say about the stitching on this? Oh, and I'm using, of course, Vicki Clayton silk. And I showed this box last time and gave the link to Amazon for it. It's really perfect for Vicki Clayton silks. And I taped the little conversion that she sends right on the lid. Fits nicely in the project bag and holds them nicely. And, of course, Smith Sampler lives in my new little Happy Birthday Girl bag from Barry at Stitch Folk. Okay. Oops. That's my stitching. And you know, the time, you know, you take 4 days out with no stitching, that really cuts down on it. Okay. And I said there was 1/1 in Smith Sampler. Okay, my haul. I have a little bit of haul here. I got my Floss Frenzy from Fat Quarter Shop. It's Weeks Dye Works. They're G's. They're working on G's. And I have attached the little plastic hang tag. And I told you about those last time and linked Missy at 2 Needles Pulling Thread. Did a little tutorial on what they are and how to do it. And that link is in my last video also. So that's the floss fix. Okay, and another Hands Across the Sea. This is a Stitch in Time Saves 9. This is an exclusive for a Stitch in Time in Tasmania, in Hobart, Tasmania. So I ordered that. It's exclusive, so if you want that, you have to order it through them. And then it came, I guess Nicola mailed it because it came Royal Mail. It must make a big difference in the postage, so that's appreciated. So that's Stitch in Time Saves 9. That'll be another red one. Another, I've seen this all over the internet lately. Scattered Seeds, or Vintage Charm, yeah. Vintage Charm Pin Keep from Scattered Seed Samplers. Samplers? Yes. That's sweet. And it calls for DMCs, so I will happily do that. And I purchased also my called for 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. Got an 1/8 of it from 123 Stitch, so I didn't have to buy a huge piece for that count. That's another sweet little thing to get going on. And I've been looking for this pattern for a while. It's called Disturbed Women, and it's from Lucy Bean. So I'm picturing this hanging on one of my closet doors. I said last time, I have 2 closets that have my quilting and cross-stitch stuff in. And the one about the queen, you know, when the queen is happy, there's peace in the kingdom, will go on one. This will go on another, inside or outside, whichever one I want. And then I also showed the other time buying cross-stitch like I'm immortal. That'll be on there too. So those are going to be closet door decorations. And that is all of my haul. Okay. Plans. My focus piece is Little Red Chair Sampler. Now that we're in July, I owe it 7 days, and I might get it done this month. So it's my focus, and it remains my focus until I have finished it. That's my rule. My red sampler is Anna Ullman. I owe her 3 days this month. I need to work on Nicola's lessons and get my stitch book caught up. I thought I might be able to do that in Florida, but we had no internet. So I couldn't do that. And we had thought, well, we can make a hotspot with our phones. Well, we didn't have strong enough signal to even make a hotspot, so couldn't do that. So that was disappointing. I thought I might get caught up on that. And getting back to Ann Borat, working out the stitching that I have to figure out on that one. I'm not giving up on that. I'm going to keep going. Now what I really need to think about is getting a balance. Before I retired, it was all quilting all the time. That's what I did. I didn't do cross stitch. It was all quilts, all quilting. And then in 2018, I came across a Lori Holt. It's called So She Did, S-E-W, So She Did, and it had a turquoise sewing machine on it, and I stitched that one. That was from Fat Quarter Shop, and I just started on that little slide down into down, but it was a slippery slope. Started watching some Flosstube. Started with Kimberly Jolly, and then the Housewives, stitching with the Housewives, and then found Brenda Handwork Maniac and Snug Harbor Crafts, Deb and Catherine, and who's the Evertote? She, during pandemic, she posted a video every single day, and I looked forward to that, and so I just started finding more and more floss tubes and buy-in and stitching, and so now the pendulum has gone from all the way to the quilting extreme to all the way to the cross-stitch extreme, and now that we're not going to be dividing our time in two different places, I'll have access to my sewing room. I need to have a balance. I have things I need to make progress on in the quilting world, and things I want to continue progress on in the stitching world, and so I have to work that out. And those of you who do both, tell me how you do it. Do you do a day of one and a day of another? Do you always set aside your morning time for one and afternoon, evening for another, or something? I'd like some ideas, because I don't know. I have to work it out. You know me, I like a checklist, and there, done, check. So I need some help with that. But I do need to get that figured out so I come to a comfortable balance. Okay, let's see. The quilt this time, was that everything was? Yeah. Okay, so the quilt I have featured, I'm going to show you the pattern first. It's called Park Bench from Jaybird Quilts. This was a block of the month that I did. This came out in 2014. I completed mine in 2015. And this quilt required specialty rulers. There's a hex and more. What can I show this on? Let me get a board. I don't have a plain. Here's a plain board. Okay. Hex and more was a specialty. It shows you the special sizes or the special shapes that you do with that. And I put on the back, you can see those little squares. I put I can't remember the brand, but it's tape that you use to put bandages on it. There's a texture to the tape. It's clear, but it's got a texture, and it gives just a little bit of resistance so it's not so slippy. And then the second specialty it required was the side kick, and then it shows you there the shapes that it does. So with that, you can complete all of the blocks in this quilt. Now I'm going, oh, you know what? No, we can't do quilt yet because we didn't do the celebration recipients. Ah, I'm sorry. So don't take off yet. Don't leave yet. Oh my goodness. I skipped right over that on my list. I have it right on my list. Okay. So the number ones, I made 3 project bags to give away. And here's one. Wanda Klink. What's the number? 5393, Wanda Klink. I'll tell you in just a minute what you're going to do here. And then Marilyn SR 53, Maryland SR 53. That's the second bag. And the third bag, Norma Jean Mayette. I can't read your number, Norma, 3860. I know Norma. I was so surprised when that popped up. So Norma, if you want me to bring it to stitching on Tuesday, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll mail it to you if you can't come. Okay. That was a surprise. Okay, the 18 count Ada goes to Melody Patterson, 6666. Melody Patterson, 6666. The Honora Maxwell Hands Across the Sea pattern goes to Sandy Alford, 9456. Sandy Alford, 9456. The Martha Jefferson sampler goes to Judy Chandler, -VI5UO. Judy Chandler. If that's you, congratulations. Hands-on Design Tulip House goes to Char J57. Char J57. The Anne Frank pattern goes to Rhonda O'Neill, 2198. Rhonda O'Neill, 2198. The two Teresa Kogut patterns go to Marcia Smith, -FD4PV. Marcia Smith. And the tiny one and the larger one, Nathaniel, goes to Susan Hayward Alt 3514. Susan Hayward Alt. So, if this is your surprise, congratulations. You can send me your email either using my Recovering Monogamous Stitcher Gmail email, or you can message me on Instagram. I'm Recovering Monogamous Stitcher there. Do not put it in the notes down below. You do not want to put your address out on the internet. Don't do that. So it's a couple ways to contact me, and I will get those out in the mail as soon as I can. So thank you so much for participating, and I hope to do another one soon. So if you're watching and not subscribed, please subscribe so we can get that number up there. Okay, now the quilt, park bench. And I talked to you about it, and I showed you the rulers, so I'm going to move the camera so don't get sick. Oops, sorry. I did flip it, didn't I? And I didn't mean to. I have to pull the table back so I can get in there. Okay, Park Bench by Jay Bird. So they're basically huge hexes, but they have different configurations within. And each month we made two that were different colorways, but the same cutting. So 1, 2, 3, 6. There were 15. We must have done more than two at some point in time. So anyway, and the fabric, I cannot remember what the name of the designer was. And I must have gotten it as a bundle because my quilt looks exactly the same as the picture on the front. So I don't remember if it came as a kit or I ordered it as a bundle, a supplemental bundle, or how I did that. But every once in a while I run across a few of these scraps of these fabrics, and they're so much fun. Okay, in a minute we'll look closer at some of the quilting. But so as I said, this pattern was published in 2014. Now I'm going to cough. Sorry, I have to get water. And I finished it in 2015. So that was very early on in my quilting, my long arm quilting. And I absolutely wanted to do feathers in these triangles all the way, and the sides and everything. And that was the first real feathering that I did on a quilt that wasn't a practice. So I looked at it today, and It looks a little kindergarten-ish, a bit, but not too bad. What you don't want to have is feathers that look like hot dogs or fingers. And I can see over here, there are a few, like, that's not really, but I definitely did not have the hang of making a nice tapered return here. And the same thing here. And then there's another one here, so oops, here. So I'm thinking probably that direction was very hard for me to control on the machine at that time. I just didn't have it together. So the feathers aren't too bad. And I did know that if you echo on the outside, it makes it look nicer. So that's the beginning of my feathers. And I had fun playing around with the quilting designs. Up here in this green and gray, you see the continuous curve, which you've seen in lots of my quilts. I do continuous curve a lot. It's very effective as a nice quilting design. And then come down here, and I did some straight line quilting here. I had a little circle ruler, so I did, like a circle that way, circle that way, circle that way. That filled that in nicely. Did some continuous curve here. This one, I was trying to do that kind of that onion curvy. Wasn't really totally successful, but that was the first time I did that. And then, of course, more straight lines, because straight lines are always good. Let me switch my hand here. Down here, let's see what I do. More continuous curve around the outside. More that little flower thing in the center. And then I messed around with a round ruler here. Not really sure what I thought I was coming up with, but it was okay. And then down here, you're going to see some things you recognize. I do the space, another space, and then fill it with pearls. They call it pearls when they're strung like that. They call it pearls. Otherwise, it's pebbling if it's just random. And more of those curved lines. This one I did better with those curves, I think. And let's see what we have. A lot of straight lines in that one, and you'll recognize the figure eight, or lazy eight, whatever they call it. I put leaves in these. Oops, I'm not pointing the camera where I'm pointing. Leaves in these gray, like petals on the outside. More continuous curves and straights. Okay, this was a challenge to me too. I'd seen a picture of this motif, and I like it a lot. I've used it since, but the challenge was really, okay, then I have to turn it upside down in my brain to do it this way, and then turn it the opposite way to do it this way. And that's my challenge in long arm quilting. And now that I've gotten, I've done more feathers, I can do feathers right to left, left to right, up to down, and down, and away from me and toward me. But when it's a complicated pattern like this, that is a challenge, but you have to turn your brain and go, okay, now it's doing the same thing, but going the other direction. And there's some more of the repeats of those quilting patterns. Lots of straight lines in that one. Actually, I kind of like that one. That reminds me of the queen stitch and cross stitch. Okay, now if I try to switch my hand here, okay, get up there. What do we, okay, we have the crazy eights or lazy eights. Big, and then a border and a smaller border, and then continuous curve. Here I did that same pattern again, that flower, and I did it on the darker ones too. They don't show up as much, but give me great practice. I tried to have every single one quilted differently, because there are at least two of each of these inner patterns on the quilt, and even if I was doing that same pattern, I didn't want it to be the same quilting pattern. that's about as much detail as I can show. Of course, this is always a challenge. And I appreciate those of you who stick with me and want to see my quilts, even though I have trouble with the filming of it. So again, this is Park Bench by Jaybird Quilts. And it was an early one on my long arm. 2015 was pretty early. So, but it's not bad. It's on, I keep this on the bed in the room that my grandchildren stay in if they come to visit. So anyway, so that's it for today. I will be back in 2 weeks. I hope I have a plan going so I can get some momentum in both quilting and in cross stitch. Let's see, I think that's it. So happy stitching, Flosstube. Bye-bye.